Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, PSP, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about something extremely interesting, Reset Collection, an emulation front end on Android. We've talked about Reset Collection in previous videos, but it just got a brand new update and introduced something very neat. Now, Reset Collection is not an emulator, it's an emulation front end. It's designed to work with your ROMs and your emulators to organize everything all in one place. So the latest version is 1.1.27, and I'll drop a link to the full changelog in the description below in the event that you wanted to check it out. It's right up on GitHub. The developer says they're extremely excited, or just very excited, I guess, to announce that Reset Collection is the first emulation front end to use an AI image generator natively to create and download AI generated images. The developer then says using an AI image generator from within Reset Collection is early stage and experimental. You will be accessing the Microsoft AI image generator through a web view within the Reset Collection app. You will then need to log into your Microsoft account, after which you will be able to create and download your AI generated images. On top of that, you can now search and download images for your systems and games using Yahoo Image Search, and there were some updates to the scraper. This, I would say, is a pretty big update for Reset Collection. Next up, we're quickly talking about PSP Emulation with PPSSPP, and PPSSPP just got a brand new update. The development version, not the mainline build. To pick up the development build, head to PPSSPP.org and click on Downloads. From here, scroll down to the bottom where you see Orpheus's build bot and click on it. And from here, you can pick it up for Android or Windows, either 32 or 64-bit. Anyways, we've talked about retro achievements being added in previous videos, but they've also just added challenge mode. So if you prefer a challenge and like those kind of achievements, then feel free to pick up the latest development build and test it out. Moving on, and we're talking about a brand new Super Mario World hack in development. It's not completed just yet, but it's showing quite a bit of promise. Now, this is being created by the same person behind Super Mario World Travelers, and it's starting to get quite a bit of attention. So they say there's going to be 7 worlds in total, each one having 6 levels, including boss levels. All graphics are self-drawn, and it's got an entirely original soundtrack. If you are curious about this one and wanted to follow along, I'll drop a link to this forum in the description below and feel free to check it out. And speaking about ROM hacks, if you're a fan of Breath of Fire 3 for the PS1 or even PSP, you may like this news. There's a brand new ISO editor that just released. It works on either PS1 USA or European versions, as well as the European version for PSP. It says you can edit a whopping 465 different items, and the lists of items all have a search feature you can use if you want. You can edit things like weapon attack power, armor defense power, how much HP is restored with healing items, and more. And in the future, they're adding editing for characters, enemies, and bosses. And speaking about the future, next up we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Yuzu Early Access. And the Early Access version of Yuzu just got a brand new update to rebase it with the PC version to bring in some of those changes. Now, it generally takes about 2 weeks, give or take, for these changes to make their way to the mainline build, but with Yuzu's track record, it sometimes takes even sooner. Anyways, here there are no specific Mali performance enhancements just yet, and I know a lot of people have been asking for those. Next up, we're talking about a very interesting article put out by GameHistory.org, which I will link to in the description below. The title here is 87% Missing, the Disappearance of Classic Video Games. So to add some context to that, they say 87% of classic games are not in release and are considered critically endangered. And the Entertainment Software Association, the video game industry's lobbying group, has consistently fought against expanding video game preservation within libraries and archives, and they provided some examples. This stresses the importance of game preservation, and the Video Game History Foundation did a great job in putting this research together. Next up, we're talking about Microsoft, and today Microsoft had an absolutely massive win. The judge ruled in their favor versus the FTC in purchasing Activision Blizzard. They're not all clear just yet, though. The CMA in the UK still kind of poses a bit of a problem. But it appears that things have been put on hold while they try to come to a resolution. To be honest with you, I'm kind of curious to see what Microsoft is going to do to tweak the Activision Blizzard deal to appease the CMA. I mean, the CMA has agreed to pause litigation, so they're listening. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Moving on, and we're switching from Windows to Linux, and we're talking about Canonical, and Canonical taking control of LXD. LXD stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Linux Container Daemon, depending on how you want to interpret that. Anyways here, this news was announced back on July 5th. And just recently, Canonical's leading LXD engineer quits. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the blog post from the engineer in the description below and you can read it. They have a whole post here on why they quit and what their next steps are. And interestingly enough, they're not stepping away from using Ubuntu in general. And last up here, we're talking about the new release of Mozilla Thunderbird 1.15 Supernova. This thing got a brand new look and feel. I mean, here's before and here is after. To me, it looks very similar to something like a cross between Gmail and Outlook. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.